What's up YouTube? Anything Billy here. On today's video, we're going to be working on the front brakes and rotors on the 2008 Toyota Corolla. So let's get started. Like always, before you get started, make sure you put a rag over the brake fluid reservoir. That way when you push in the calipers, it's got less resistance for the air to come up through. So tools you'll need for this job: a 14 millimeter to take the caliper bolts off, 17 millimeter to take the caliper bracket bolts off, lube for the slides, straight screwdriver, some type of caliper tool, and like always, no job is complete without a hammer. First thing you want to do is take the 14 millimeter and take the caliper bracket bolt loop, or the caliper bolts loose. Take your straight screwdriver. Ooh. Well, them are thin. Take your caliper compression tool, put it on one of the ears, and slowly push the piston back in. Okay. Next, you want to move the caliper out of the way so if you have to do any hammering, it won't fall. 17 millimeter. Take the bracket loose. Alright, so for this job, I'm going to have to get a 17 millimeter wrench because where this screw's at, it's hitting the screw for the steering knuckle, so I'm going to have to use a 17 wrench. You just do it the same way. Now that that's done, we can beat the rotor off. Loud noises. New rotor. Brake clean. We're getting all the oil off of it from shipping. Remember, take your lug nut, screw it all the way on there to hold the rotor into place so it don't move. Somewhat move. Alright, so next, you want to lube the slides. Always want to put fresh lube on there, because most time that lube's been in there for 50, 60, 70,000 miles. See, over time it gets black and it wears out. Remember, take out one at a time so you know where they go. You don't have to be stingy. Just make sure they're good and coated. Twist them around. That's pretty good. Now we can reinstall the caliper. Always go with the bottom bolt first, it's just easier. Then we'll go with the top bolt. Alright, 17 millimeter. There we go. 17 millimeter. Just give it a few nicks with the hammer. Alright. Like I said, the top you have to use a wrench. Do it the same way. There we go. Alright. Next, take the old hardware off. Right. They only sent me 4 hardware pieces, so I don't have to guess where they go, or guess what they are. Just have to stick them on there. One. There's 2. Make sure the hardware is not hitting the new rotor. Okay. So these have no squillers, so you would just put them on there either way. It's going to be a tight fit. There's a tight fit coming off. Go. A little bit of a screwdriver fix. Same way over here. Yeah. All right. Make sure the hardware still ain't touching the rotor. Make sure the brakes are lined up with the curvature of the rotor. So I've been away for a couple hours working on other cars, so if that ever happens, make sure you go back and double check what you've done so you don't forget. So we'll retake the 17 millimeter. It's good. The brakes are in. The hardware's not hitting the rotor. I put lubrication on the slides, so now I can put the caliper back on. Okay. I don't know if you can see, but these have certain ways they have to go back on the caliper. So when you go to tighten up the bolts, the caliper pins don't move. Come on. Yeah. That one's in. Alright. The bottom is turned the way it needs to be. The bottom one bolt in. I know the light's a little strange because the sun's behind me. Alright, take your 14 millimeter and give them a little tighten. Just snug them up. Alright. Make sure you take your lug nuts off that you're holding the rotor on. And now I'm ready to go do the other side. Alright. So I forgot to mention on starting on the other side, make sure you turn the wheel on whatever side you're going to do. So you'll have this caliper out exposed to make it easier to change. So do it just like the other side. Take it apart, put it back together. Here we go. Well, there you have it. Brakes and rotors on. As you can see, that caliper, as you can see, the hardware gave me a little bit of trouble. But with the screwdriver, I was able to get it into place to where it needs to be. Everything fit in there like it's supposed to after that. So now the only thing left to do is to put the wheels and tires back on and take it for a test drive. have it, folks. Front brakes and rotors on the 2008 Toyota Corolla. Just remember, right before you leave, you need to make sure you put the brake fluid cap back on. Make sure the fluid is up to the max line, which this is. It was over. Luckily, I was able to suck it out with a little bitty extractor I have. Make sure on certain cars that has hubcaps, make sure you line up the little slot. I don't know if you can see that or not, but line up the little slot with the valve stem so you can put air in the tires next time. Now, the only thing left to do is to take it for a test drive. If there's any issues, I'll see you back. But if not, you want to make sure you pump your brakes 3 or 4 times. Make sure you got a good pedal before you leave. So I want to thank everybody for watching this video. If you like what I do, if you like my videos, give me a thumbs up. If you want to see more, subscribe to the channel. So until next time, bye now.